Good morning. It's great to be back at Core Finance TV and doing my senior management interview. And today it's great to welcome back Peter Levine, who's the chairman of President Energy. Peter, thank you very much for coming back in again to tell us what's going on at President.
Good to see you again.
Thanks very much indeed. Just for those people that don't know too much about President, I wonder if you could do the usual overall. We'll come back to detail on everything in a minute, but the overall view of the company, where you are, what your production is, reserves and team and that sort of stuff.
Right, well, President is a production company, E&P company as well. We're based in Argentina, but with production in Louisiana and exploration both in Argentina and in Paraguay. Our production is significant. We are cash generative. We're making profits. We've got good EBITDA this year. Our turnover is going to be plus or minus 50 million this year, US dollars. And as I said, we've got positive EBITDA, and we're throwing off approximately 2.5 million of free cash of dollars every month.
Every month, I know you're going to say that. Right, we'll hit the detail in a minute, but I have to ask you first of all the macro question about the state and situation in Argentina, because obviously people who are concerned, particularly recently, and what they're obviously going through a difficult time there and so on. Are you comfortable with being in the country at the moment under the prevailing circumstances?
Yeah, let's not take it away. There is issues, some people would call it a crisis, of course, in relation to the peso, in relation to inflation. So let's not detract from that at all. But behind every issue or problem, there's always opportunities. And as we're cash flow positive, as we're making profits, and as we're in an extremely good position because we're operators in each of the areas that we're in, I'm looking at it as opportunities. I worked in Russia for 20 years. You know, I'm used to crises, I'm used to issues, and I'm used to applying ourselves and making it from an issue to an opportunity. So yes, there are things to be aware of. Yes, there are things to note. We don't degrade from what's happening there. But if you're asking me whether I'm comfortable, I'm actually more comfortable with this because as some people tell me, I'm members of my family, I'm far better in a crisis than anyone else.
Excellent. Now, let's take a look at President today. Operationally, a lot has happened since you last came in to talk to me. Let's have a look at the significant things that have happened in the last few months. I'm talking about particularly Puerto Flores and Estancia Vieja. So can we run through in some detail what's been going on operationally?
Operationally, we've had success. We've increased our profitability. We've increased our production. Our workover program has been extremely successful. And by the end of this month, we'll have spudded our first well, our 3-well program. And it's all funded out of cash flow. So we've done effectively 14 workovers since we acquired Puerto Flores in November of last year. And we're going to be doing 3 wells, again, new wells, all out of cash flow. We've had some very successful gas tests. We're not saying too much on that, because at the moment we're looking at ways of monetizing that gas. That's in Estancia Vieja, the sister field within the concession. So we've made a lot of improvement. We've increased our production 60% since the beginning of the year. So it's very significant. And of course our profitability, because that's the other side of the coin. It's all well and good oil companies and talking about barrels. That doesn't interest me at all. It doesn't impress me. What impresses me is profitable barrels. And profitable barrels means converting the profit into cash. And we have got profitable barrels. We're focusing on margins. We're focusing on costs. So, and it's not in the future, it's now. And that will provide a good base for what's happening in the future. So lots of organic growth, which we've got in the future. And the basis of that is our profitable present.
And you know, I mean, as you say, you're getting cash flow, and you're getting cash flow which you can actually convert into dollars, and you're doing, you know, as you say, better every time we look at it. Number of barrels being produced. You sort of glossed over Estancia Vieja because I know that you've got, you know, big plans for the gas there, and not just for producing. I mean, I guess you have a plan to produce enough to be able to run all your operations from the gas that's produced there. You've got bigger plans than that, though, haven't you?
We may have, but it's not something that we can talk about at the moment.
But it'd be nice to develop that in a bigger way. So overall, you've obviously concentrated on these particular projects in the last few months, which is understandable. But you've got a lot more in the portfolio because you have Presto Guardian and various other things. And I'd like to know, they've been put slightly on the back burner because these things have come through in spades and they're looking so good. So what's happening with the rest of the portfolio?
A lot of people say, "What, Presto Guardian, what's happened? You promised over 1,000 barrels a day. Where is it? What are you going to do with it?" Well, the good news on Presto Guardian is, first of all, we're making money from the production we have. Second of all, our production is stable, which demonstrates that effectively we've got some very good support there. We've got a lot of reserves. We're still very confident about Presto Guardian. We've got 35 years left. And for those people who say, what's happening, well, I'm going to say to them, wait, because we are coming. We are coming with new wells in 2019, again, out of cash flow.
Yeah. And Paraguay, where are we there? People
So-
always ask me, we're going to understand why, that's not at the top of the pile, but it's still in your plans?
Paraguay in itself is as significant an exploration area as most other pure exploration companies have in terms of prospectivity. We have never let Paraguay off our radar. There's a new government come in, excellent president, excellent ministers. I'm very encouraged by that. I'm a great fan of Paraguay. We will be drilling in 2019.
You've drilled there before, haven't you?
We have drilled two wells before.
Did you not find a heavy...
Well, it's a technical discovery. What does that mean? In reality, as far as in my book's concerned, no, because we're not actually generating money. So the bottom line is we're going to be addressing the Cretaceous this time, not the Paleozoic. Yes, there is a farm-out process going on. Yes, it's encouraging, but we will be drilling. Now, I have said in the past that one way or other, I think I used the words by hook or by crook the last time I saw you, that we will be drilling in 2018. Well, we're not. And the reason why we're not is because the prospectivity of Presto Flores was so great that the desire to generate cash took the precedence from exploration. We are able to explore and drill next year in Paraguay, and that is what we will do, whether or not we have a farm out.
Yeah, and you're able to do that because you're generating money out of Presto Flores.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So next year, not only are we going to be drilling more wells in Presto Flores, we'll be looking to do something in Estancia Ibeca as well, which we'll announce in due course next year. Then we've got wells which we're going to be drilling in Presto Guardian, and we've also got the exploration well in Paraguay, all out of cash flow, all out of profitability.
Tell me, I hear you've got a good operational team in country in Argentina. Tell me about the team that you've got with you.
We've got an excellent team, and that's where we're based. We don't want people in London. What are people in London going to do? In Argentina, it's 13.5-hour flight away. The real place is above the shop, and that's what we have. So we have, anyone can see our website and the video on our website. They can see our team, they can see how young our team is, and that's something which gives me great joy and fun, that we've got a great team, a great atmosphere, and success breeds success.
Yeah, that video is good. If you haven't seen the video, you should definitely have a click on it, because it tells you a lot about the president's story.
And the dog.
And
our dog. Honey is our dog.
And the
I
dog,
found it outside as a stray.
Yeah. Effectively, you already answered the question. The next question was going to be, how are you going to fund this whole exploration program? But you're rigorous in the way that you ensure that with the money that's coming off the discoveries and the production that's coming from Presto Flores and so on. So in terms of needs for funding, you're self-funded because you're not going to do anything except with money that you're throwing off through.
Yes, in terms of organic growth, absolutely. And the emphasis on that, as I said, is a focus on margins.
Yeah,
so at the same time as increasing
barrels,
margins, it's margin. It's margin. It's the cash.
You mentioned organics or inorganic. I'm going to talk about growth here through acquisitions. It's perfectly clear that the Chevron deal was a good one, probably a once in a lifetime deal, in the sense that I certainly from an outside point of view, every time I look at it, I think, how did you manage to get that deal on board? And Presto Flores is a perfect example. Are there others in the pipeline? Are you looking at other acquisitions, or do you think you've just you hit pay dirt so well there that for the time being, you've got enough on your plate.
No, we are looking, but as I said previously, we'll only say something when we have something tangible.
Perfect. Now, the next question is in a way linked to everything that we talked about. I know you keep costs to an absolute minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a real bugbear of yours because we talked about this before, and you sort of covered it in previous questions. You keep costs to an absolute minimum.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? You mentioned that you don't have an office in London.
Don't pay expensive people in London. Effectively, we've got our accounts people in London who are excellent, but they work without an office. We meet when we need to meet. Obviously, I'm not based in London. And that we have everyone in Argentina. We keep our costs not just in terms of the G&A, which is really important, but also in relation to the operating costs. And to drive down operating costs, you'll have to look at OPEX. So since we got into Presta Flores, we've reduced OPEX significantly.
Yeah.
For example, by disposing of a lot of our water ourselves and not through third parties. We go out to tender, so the first thing that we did was we tendered everything again. We said, right, tender everything again. We take nothing on certainty that you've got the work. We re-tendered. We consistently monitor it. And of course, it's very important to have a purchasing people we have who are very good, very experienced, as well as sales. So it comes down to OPEX, it comes down to purchasing, and it also comes down to sales to get the best possible price for our product, our oil.
And talking about London, you've hired Rob Shepherd.
Yep.
And he works out of London and keeps things under control over here.
Rob was non-exec in Imperial Energy many, many years ago. Rob, I first met Rob when he was our banker at ABN AMRO.
Yeah.
And Rob's been a really great guy, extremely loyal, extremely hardworking, and he cares. And he's far better at dealing on a personal basis. I'm not very personal, and I'm not very sociable. But he's excellent at that, and so he can do that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for him.
He's technically he's tremendous.
For a long time. And when we spoke a few weeks ago, we talked about the fact that despite you've got production up something like 60% since last October, November.
Well, at the beginning of the year, we increased it since
and the crude prices stayed over $70 in that time. The shares have languished at below the 9p level that you did the raise at. And I think it's appropriate to be blunt about this because I know how distressed you are about it. But the point is, given that you're an increasingly profitable business, and you've got a supportive set of shareholders. The bottom line is you own 30% of the business yourself. Have you ever thought about, saying, "Sold this for a game of toy soldiers. Well, I'll buy it back myself." Or, I'd like to know why you're still running this business in a public manner, because it looks like it's so good and it's just not appreciated by the market.
My children ask me that question all the time. I think they would prefer that I did take it private. The bottom line is we're a public company. The bottom line is we've got extremely supportive shareholders. I can't rule out anything in the future. But what I would say is that if we do anything, it will be in consultation with our major shareholders, who I deeply respect, and it would be paying respect to all our shareholders, even if they have one share. There's no reason to take advantage of shareholders. Yes, if we wanted to, one could do it now. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's not appropriate to do it. We're a public company, and it's our job to get that message across.
Yeah.
Having said that, in the future, if having done everything we can to get that message across, and it's not getting across, then obviously I will consult with shareholders and we'll see. But for the moment, we're very comfortable being a shareholder. Yes, I wouldn't say distressed about the share price, Malcy. I would say that a lot of people question me about it, and I feel very concerned for the small shareholders who feel that, there's something wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this company. We're making good profits, and we have a base. It's not simply just profitability, it's the ability to grow. We've only been on this path really relatively recently.
Yeah.
We came the long way around to this, but now we're here, we're very comfortable with it.
And that's exactly right, because you could argue that at the time of Presto Guardian and so on, you could argue that, but now you're in a position where you just have to keep on thumping the table and saying, because of what we've done at Puesto Flores, and because of what we're doing at Stanza Vieja, is that there's so much high margin value in this business with, as you say, profitability, that at some stage it's got to come through in value for the shareholders.
I'd like to think the value will out, and that's why at the moment what you suggest, it may be in my children's minds, but it's not in mine.
And I mean, the next question was going to be that, and to a certain extent it's linked up with this, but you're still at the coalface, you're still going to work pretty much every day, I guess. You must love it. I mean, you don't have to do this.
You just said it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Even when there's issues, there's fun.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would survive without this particular fun.
Yeah.
Because I think my brain needs to work.
Yeah.
I'm still young enough to do it. And I'm gonna continue with it for at least for the foreseeable future, but never say never.
No.
And always look at opportunities as they came up.
Imperial must seem like such a long time ago.
It is.
Now, at the end, I mean, the time was whipped by, so what I'd like to do at the end is ask you the usual question of saying, right, taking everything that we've talked about into perspective, on a year or a year and a half, so the end of next year, where would you like President to be operationally and, in terms of value terms? To give us an idea of your vision. I mean, you've expressed it very strongly in the last 15 minutes or so, but give us an idea overall where you expect it.
I've been caught so many times by that question.
Yeah.
It's a naughty question.
Yes,
so
I have to ask you.
I'm not going to answer it. But what I would say is onwards and upwards.
Yeah, and it is a process, bringing not only using your profitable short-term operational skills, and bringing in other assets from the portfolio into that total value pot.
What I can promise shareholders and the listeners is a serious business, seriously progressing business, seriously run for the right reasons, not as a benefit for management who just got warrants for free or people who just rip off otherwise a company.
Yeah.
This is a serious company and I want it to be. Otherwise, I will not be in it.
Yeah.
Simple.
Well, I totally concur with that. Readers of my blog have been seeing that I've been writing this sort of thing about a company which I think is in cracking form operationally, and that hasn't been put through into the marketplace yet. I'm sure it will be.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Peter. Today's interview has been with Peter Levine, who's the chairman of President Energy, and it's been great to be with you on Core Finance TV. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again next time.